Welcome to Model Engineers Laser. My name is Holly and this is part 18 of our jack build. In our last video we explained how I was going to do a bit of sanding of the parts. I know I wasn't going to go through it all and show you, but I just wanted to discuss where it is. So it's quite bright in here today, so I'm hoping you can see how I have sanded all of that back there. I've done that using a disc sander. Now this is very important because this surface is going to be painted. So any marks, I mean there's a tiny little hole there that needs filling, but any marks on this are going to show up on your paintwork. The sections by the rivets here, you can see I've not done yet. And because of the rivets, there's no other way around that other than to do it by hand. And we've also got our front foot plate here that I just wanted to discuss briefly. I'm going to take the edges off all of these parts here and equally on that corner there. Again, just for the paint to stick really, it's quite a harsh edge, and as it's currently cut, the paint won't adhere to it. So just before I carry on, I'm going to get on and do that. I just wanted to show you the finished sanding. So we're nice and flush on these parts here.
Mummy?
Yes, darling.
Help?
I don't need help at the moment. I'm just telling people about the sanding. You've already helped me with that bit.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Come round here. There we go. So I'm showing everyone the smoke box.
Yep.
Yep. That's the smoke box. It is a circle. It's a smoke box door. Can you pass it me?
Yeah.
Can I have it, please?
Yeah.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I've also taken off the burrs here from where it was casting, the burrs, sprues, and any burrs that have occurred due to the filing, and also on the dummy water filler there. The next job, you're rocking the table, darling. Thank you. This is the dummy foot plate. What I need to do is countersink these three holes, the smaller holes here. That is the one where the dummy water filler goes in. So I don't need to do that one. I need to countersink these only a little bit for our screws to go in. And I'm just going to show you now. We're going to have to glue that in. There isn't enough on it to put a thread on it or hold it in any way to get a thread. So that's going to be glued. And as you can see, it covers that hole. So we're also going to have to glue that one in too. So just need to move some bits out of the way so you can see a bit better. It doesn't need a lot because it's only going to take a small screw. But make sure you are doing it the right way up. So if this your engine's like that's the wrong way up. It needs to be this way. Just test that they fit in there okay and flush. And a good way to do that is I put that on there and then put that in there. You can see that doesn't quite, it rocks. So that one needs a little bit more. Smidgen more. Perfect.
Got it. So these need gluing in now. To make sure you don't get glue on the thread, I'm going to use a 2-part epoxy resin, just a bit of araldite, put the screw in, put a bit of glue on and put that in place, and then put my water filler in. Once that's set, we can give it a coat of primer. We're going to need to use a U-Pol Acid 8 primer because of the brass. Yeah, it's not going to like if it's not a U-Pol Acid 8 primer, and then it's just going to be the black top coat that we used on the rest of the frame for it to sit and fit all together.
This is just a 5-minute rapid set epoxy resin. It's a brand new one, so it's going to make a mess, so I need to be quick. Only need a small amount for this part of the job. I hate when you open a new one of these and it all explodes out. You only need a small bit. So remember, I'm just using the smoke box actually as a way to prop that up, because I'm just going to be careful about where I put the glue. Now, as I mentioned, I don't want to get glue on all these threads here, so I'm going to put it in place first, lift it ever so slightly from the bottom. I need to put just the smallest amount of glue to hold it in place. It only needs a bit, and then I'm going to rest it on there and let gravity put it in place. And then the same for the water filler. This hasn't got a thread on it, so it's not as precious. I mean, it would have been nice if it had got a thread on, like the dart bar. The dart bar's got a nice thread on it. I'll show you that later. So this just needs some resin on that. There we go. We're going to let that set and then clean up the excess glue that's appeared. Give it a clean over. I think it's acquired a bit of oil on it where it's been touching places, and then we'll put the primer on and its first coat of paint.
While the paint is drying on my front foot plate, we're going to make the dart bar. This is basically a bit of brass that I've stolen from Ed. It's 1/4 by 1/8 brass bar. What we need to do is literally what it says in the Garden Rail magazine, which is cut a section off. The magazine says cut off 50mm. I'm going to be a little bit generous and cut off 52 just to give me a little bit more to play with. And it needs a hole in the middle of the section that we cut, which is going to be tapped to 6BA. We'll then fasten this to the smoke box at either side, which we'll cover at a later date. And the other thing we need to do is drill a hole in the smoke box here. I'm just going to bring up a photo. I've stolen Ed's phone and a picture that I've got of the actual jack for the blower elbow here. So as you can see, it's near the top side and it's slightly set further to the back. So I'm going to get a pen. So what I reckon is that once we've put the chimney on, you've got chimney on the central. I reckon it's just in line with this joint here. You can't count the rivets because it's not a rivet counting model. And it is not centre, it's slightly just set back. So I reckon it's there. And we'll go and drill that too and come back. One of the things we have noticed by resting the chimney on there is that we are fouling on one of the rivets. So after all the effort we've gone to that rivet, it looks like it's redundant anyway and might be taking out the model. But I'll come back once all that's done. Here is our dart bar that's been cut down. You can see where I've marked it and then drilled and tapped it to 6BA, which matches the dart that we've got from Simon at Model Earth. Now, because there's a lip on the door, we've had to put notches in because the smoke box metal isn't as thick as it, so it actually sits proud. You can just see it in the camera shot there. So once the dart bar is in place, it sits on the door rather than the smoke box, and it rattles around. So this is just being hacked out by hand with a file, so it's not precision, it just gives it plenty of room to sit around. Now you could just assemble it by putting the door in place, putting in the dart bar and screwing it up tight, which, why do things so much harder to do when you're trying to get it all on camera? That's why I like my building frame. There we go. There we go. Get the worst of it tightened up. So that's going to sit on that side. To just sit nice and central. I've got that upside down. Doesn't matter, I'm going to move it anyway. So you could just fit it like that. However, it would be difficult to refit if you end up taking the door off at any point once the loco is built together, especially once it's got its boiler on. Equally, you could just put a clearance hole in that and use the washer. Ooh, that's gone flying everywhere. And the nut on the back of there that comes with the dart bar. But you're going to encounter the same problem in that if you wanted to open the door, you wouldn't be able to once you've built it. Now, we're going to do what it says in garden rail to a certain extent. My dart bar is crooked, but like I said, I'm only doing it so you can see what's going on the camera. It's going to come apart anyway while I fit it. Now, garden rail say that they are going to fix at each end, but they do it with a rivet in these sections, just there and there. However, we're going to do ours slightly differently, and we're going to use a 10BA countersunk screw, because if for any reason I need to take it out, I haven't got to drill a rivet out, I can just take the screw out. So that's my next job, is to drill holes in here for countersunk screws at 10BA and tap them out. We have drilled, probably better show you that one there first. Those are two 10BA countersunk holes there, just holes. And the ones in the dart bar have been tapped to 10BA too. And I've got two 10BA screws here. So we can now fit our dart bar. I mean, you want them a nice tight fit, but they don't have to be ridiculously tight because we're working in brass. Sorry about the background noise. I've got all the doors and windows open because it's a lovely Easter bank holiday. And the weather's a bit too nice to be working in here without any windows and doors. So you've got motorbikes and ice cream trucks and all sorts going on in the background. There we go. Once those fitted on there, next job is chimney. Make sure I've got it the chimney. Smoke box door. Make sure I've got this the right way around. Just need to catch it. There we go. We don't need these anymore. These are redundant in the kit for how we've put it together. Again, it doesn't have to be ridiculously tight because it is just brass. And there we have it. Starting to look the part now. You can see that I've drilled the hole there from where I marked it earlier. That's just a 2mm hole for our blower elbow. It's just drilled, it's not tapped because the whole thing needs to be painted and everything before we fit that together. And we will leave it at that for this video. Next video, we'll look at getting some black on the smoke box and we'll look at assembling our chimney and fitting that onto our smoke box. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you on our next video. Thank you again.